Thursday, June 25th episode, and I frankly wasn't expecting this specific detail to surface so soon. Let us start with a seemingly innocent moment that might actually be masking a much deeper, more sinister narrative. At the Metro Court pool, Emma Scorpio Drake is supposedly having a wonderful, carefree time soaking up the summer sun with Giovanni Palmieri. It sounds like a perfect, lighthearted distraction from the doom and gloom. During this bright and sunny hangout, Felicia Scorpio arrives bearing incredibly positive news about Anna Devayne's recovery progress over at her treatment facility in France. This update brings Emma a massive wave of relief, allowing her to finally relax. But if you ask me, this picturesque, happy scene is a deliberate calm before the storm. It feels like a strategic placement by the writers to lull us into a false sense of security before the real, unadulterated chaos erupts across town and across the globe. Everyone assumes that the storylines playing out right now are straightforward and transparent. Most viewers believe that Britt Westbourne is simply acting out of pure selfless love and nobility when she discovers that Rocco Falconeri used a secret burner phone to contact Dante Falconeri and Lulu Spencer. The obvious explanation seems to be that when Dante and Lulu finally arrive in Tortola to pick up their son, Britt is just doing the right thing by letting him go. She accepts that he needs to return to his family, making him promise to always stay safe and listen to his parents. Viewers also assume that Carly Spencer is just a frantic, terrified mother when she finally breaks down and reveals to Lucas Jones that Jocelyn Jacks is actually a highly trained WSB agent, begging for his immediate help to rescue her from the clutches of Windermere. And of course, on the surface, it looks like Lucas is just being the ultimate loyal family member, agreeing instantly and vowing that he will absolutely not leave that cursed island without bringing Jocelyn home safely. Most fans are taking these emotional developments entirely at face value, believing that we are just watching desperate parents and fiercely protective friends doing whatever it takes to save their loved ones. We are meant to look at Anna Devane in her French treatment facility and think she is just a seasoned spy eager to get back to her life, putting on a brave face for her doctors to secure an early discharge so she can return to Port Charles. What if we're looking at this the wrong way? What if that wasn't the real reason behind any of these seemingly straightforward emotional actions? Let us build an alternative story here, because the insider buzz strongly suggests that every single one of these beloved characters is playing a much darker, much more complicated behind-the-scenes game. Think about Britt Westbourne for a second. We know the ruthless Ross Cullum has been gathering intelligence, and there is a massive looming fear that he could track Dante and Lulu straight to that hideout in Tortola. What if Britt already knows this? What if her emotional, tear-jerking goodbye with Rocco isn't just about sending a child to safety, but it is actually a highly calculated, sacrificial diversion? By sending Rocco away with Dante and Lulu, Britt might be intentionally making herself the sole bait for Cullum's lethal operatives. She could be drawing the fire entirely onto herself to ensure Rocco's escape, a sacrifice that viewers haven't even begun to realize yet. And then there is the highly suspicious situation with Anna Devane. The unconfirmed information floating around the rumor mill hints that Anna isn't just eager to return home. She is actively engaging in intense psychological warfare. She is trying to manipulate her lead doctor in France, putting on a masterful, Oscar-worthy theatrical performance to prove she has made a miraculous recovery. Her singular goal is to be discharged immediately. But something about this feels hidden. Is she really the one manipulating the doctor, or is the WSB doctor allowing her to believe she is in control? There may be more going on here than a simple patient-doctor dynamic. Let us pivot to the impending Windermere rescue mission. Carly enlisting Lucas to storm a Gothic castle held by a rogue, heavily armed WSB director like Ross Cullum is borderline suicidal. Carly is smart enough to know that Lucas, despite his bravery and loyalty, is a doctor, not a trained tactical operative. What if someone planned this exact scenario? What if Carly is intentionally using herself and Lucas as a highly visible, noisy distraction at the front gates? While Cullum's guards are entirely focused on the frantic mother and the determined doctor storming the perimeter, Carly might have another operative, perhaps someone tied to the mysterious Z, or even Valentine Cassadine slipping in quietly through the ancient catacombs to extract Jocelyn and Liesel Obrecht. The entire situation is being manipulated from every conceivable angle. Now, we absolutely must break down the multiple possibilities regarding the younger generation, because this is where the insider buzz is truly catching fire and burning down all our expectations. Charlotte Cassadine has just accidentally overheard a massive, world-shattering secret. Rocco was the one who actually shot Ross Cullum, and Jason Morgan nobly took the fall for it, leading to Jason's current terrifying imprisonment at a secret WSB black site. Charlotte immediately runs and reveals this explosive truth to Danny Morgan. Scenario 1. That's one possibility. Danny processes this heavy information, feels a mix of profound gratitude that Rocco saved his father's life, but also a deep, burning betrayal that his closest friends kept him in the dark. In this scenario, Danny decides to play the long, calculated game, quietly gathering resources and evidence to expose Cullum legally and free Jason without shedding any more blood. It is the safe, predictable, and mature route. But another theory is scenario 2. Danny's intense feelings of betrayal and his Morgan bloodline completely override his logic. We are hearing incredibly strong whispers that Danny might seek his own brutal, unforgiving brand of revenge against Ross Cullum. In this scenario, Danny goes completely rogue, bypassing the adults, bypassing the useless authorities, and decides to take out the WSB director himself. The insider buzz is that Danny's reckless, emotionally driven vendetta will lead him straight into Cullum's crosshairs, effectively making the teenager Cullum's next high-value target. Danny could end up walking blindly into a lethal trap, putting his own life in extreme, immediate danger and forcing Jason to helplessly watch his son become a pawn in this twisted WSB game. I keep wondering whether there is an even more sinister, heartbreaking layer to the Cassius Faison storyline. Cassius has explicitly stated that he plans to disappear into the wind, abandoning his Nathan West persona the absolute second his current project is running. He desperately wants out to protect James. Scenario 3. What if Ross Cullum is already 10 steps ahead of him? Cullum continues to apply suffocating, relentless pressure on Cassius, demanding that he handle one more incredibly dangerous task before he is allowed to walk away. The dark rumor is that Cullum already knows or strongly suspects that Cassius is the rat who leaked Rocco's Tortola location to Lulu. If that is true, this new task isn't a job at all. It is a twisted loyalty test designed to break Cassius. If you ask me, Cullum might order Cassius to eliminate Jocelyn Jax to definitively prove his loyalty to the rogue WSB faction. Or even worse, Cullum might force Cassius to turn on his own captive mother, Liesel Obrecht, in the dungeons of Windermere. This completely changes how we view Cassius's upcoming scenes. Every single conversation he has, every tiny move he makes, is under the microscopic, lethal scrutiny of a man who knows he is a traitor. Cassius isn't just trying to finish a corporate job. He is desperately trying to survive a deadly trap that has already been sprung around him without his knowledge. The sheer volume of moving parts here is staggering, and the behind-the-scenes possibility is that absolutely none of these characters are actually in control of their own destinies anymore. The rogue WSB faction, under Cullum's corrupt and brilliant leadership, has seemingly anticipated every single move our Port Charles favorites are making. When Dante and Lulu arrive in Tortola, they might think they have successfully outsmarted the system and saved their son, but what if their arrival was entirely orchestrated? What if the burner phone Rocco used was actually intercepted and monitored by Cullum's tech team hours before Britt even found out about it? They might be bringing the devil right to Britt's doorstep. This brings us right back to the Windermere infiltration. Lucas Jones agreeing instantly to help Carly is a beautiful, touching testament to family loyalty, but it is also incredibly naive given the lethal stakes involved. Lucas is stepping into an active war zone where trained, remorseless killers are holding a highly capable WSB agent hostage. The deep speculation is that Cullum is fully aware of Carly's desperation. He knows she will do anything, recruit anyone, and break any law to save Jocelyn. By allowing Carly to bring Lucas into the fold without resistance, Cullum is simply increasing his collection of leverage. He isn't afraid of Carly and Lucas. He is welcoming them into his web. And let us not forget the immense emotional toll this is taking on the younger characters, who are being forced to carry the sins of their parents. Danny Morgan is sitting on a literal powder keg of information. He knows his father is rotting in a secret, abusive facility for a violent crime his best friend committed. The psychological weight of that secret is enough to break a grown adult, let alone a grieving teenager. The rumor mill suggests that Danny's internal conflict will manifest in a highly destructive, explosive way, potentially alienating him from Charlotte just when they desperately need each other the most to navigate Cullum's terrifying web of lies. Now, we have to talk about the most dangerous possibility of all. This is the theory that is truly keeping me up at night. The one that is so incredibly dark and so audacious that it would completely rewrite the history of this entire storyline and leave fans completely breathless. What if Jason Morgan isn't in a remote overseas WSB black site at all? What if that information is a deliberate, calculated lie fed to the lower ranks to keep people off the true trail? The absolute most haunting theory circulating right now is that Ross Cullum has secretly had Jason Morgan transferred to the deepest, darkest, most inescapable dungeon beneath Windermere itself. Think about the horrifying implications of this. Carly and Lucas are currently storming the castle to save Jocelyn. Danny is potentially going entirely rogue to hunt down Cullum and save his dad. What if all these desperate characters converge on Windermere at the exact same moment, only to find that Cullum has orchestrated a twisted psychological gladiator scenario? Imagine Lucas and Carly breaching the lower levels, only to find Jocelyn being forced by Cullum to interrogate or even torture a captive Jason Morgan. Or, even more terrifying, what if Danny's blind, rage-fueled quest for revenge leads him to fire a shot in the pitch-black tunnels of Windermere, only to realize when the smoke clears that he has accidentally struck his own father or his best friend Rocco in the crossfire? It is a nightmare scenario of epic proportions that would shatter these legendary families beyond any hope of repair. Of course, none of this is set in stone. We are dealing with unconfirmed information, wild speculation, and the ever-shifting landscape of daytime drama. Maybe Anna Devane will successfully fool her doctors, secure her release, and return to Port Charles triumphant and ready for war. Maybe Dante and Lulu will bring Rocco home without a single scratch, and Britt will find a way to survive the fallout. Maybe Carly and Lucas will pull off the absolute miracle rescue of the decade and drag Jocelyn out of Windermere. It could be true. It could be entirely false. But one thing is absolutely unequivocally certain. There is a massive, devastating piece of this puzzle that remains hidden in the shadows, waiting to tear these characters' lives apart. We will just have to watch and see how the devastation unfolds.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.